Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Short Answer. It is always a wonderful pleasure to be with you and to have a little snippet of time where we carve out an opportunity to remember something that's more true than what the movie happens to be reflecting back to us any given moment in time. So I just want to remind you that you are the universe funneling into a channel, descending to the earth, rising up, cycling over and over in this toric field sort of pattern, and projecting your way down the road. And what happens is you project the things that you're experiencing in your life, and it all comes as an opportunity for you to picture in the outer world what you're unable to see in the inner world, so that you can figure out what's going on in the inner world and align, let go, refine, hone, do whatever it is that is necessary for you to be living a more balanced and wholesome and life filled with grace and ease. How about that? Okay, so we're going to jump right into the short answer for this evening in just a moment. But first, I have a couple of announcements I want to make sure that you get to know what's coming inside of Morter Institute. So we have an amazing, wonderful opportunity that we offer every year. And I'm not sure, but this might be the last year that we're actually going there live in person. Don't know for sure, but we are going to be live streaming it this year as well. So it's the Kashi information. So it's all about how our different areas of our brain work together with different areas of the system at large, and they come in combinations and patterns as far as how we illuminate ourselves, how we awaken to a more profound way of living as a creator instead of defaulting down to being a reactor. Well, interestingly enough, ancient Eastern tradition and culture was refining this and defining this for us and laying it out for us thousands of years ago. And it came in the form of the stories that they put together so that they could combine each of the symbolic parts of the body into a story. And that story became the tradition that is this beautiful Hindu gods and goddesses. And so there's a direct correlation between the gods and the goddesses and parts of the brain and the higher aspects of consciousness. And so I'm going to be teaching about that relationship this October 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it is a live stream. Our in-person portion of it is sold out, but you could get on a wait list for that if you wanted to. And we will be live streaming the event all around the world. So there is a link for that in the comment section below, and you can let us know if you're interested or want more information about that. We also have two amazing courses coming up that are teaching you and training you on a deeper level inside of how to feel inside the body, how to animate and activate different parts of the body that will allow your mind to rest at ease more readily, more consistently, because it's not trying to live your life on its own. When the mind is supported by nuances and gut feelings and inner wisdoms and hunches and intuitions, it relaxes, because when it is inundated with this kind of information, it doesn't spend its time reeling about trying to figure out the answers. The answers are supposed to be available to us any given moment in time. And that's exactly what we want to have be happening for you on an ongoing basis, right? So inside of the yoga retreat that is also coming up, I'm teaching you how to activate different parts of the body by putting the body into certain yoga positions. Those positions are called asanas, and the asanas are reflective of sacred geometries that allow the energy to move more freely through the body. And this energy is always pouring in, hitting the earth, rising up through the physical body. And if we've trained our minds how to sense and feel into it, then those answers come. And we know what we're supposed to be doing. And we know what our next step is. And we know our life path is carving its way with grace and ease. And so it's all about learning how to do that. So the yoga intensive that we are teaching, and it is on October 17th through the 21st, will also be live streamed. You can watch it from home. We'll be teaching a few asanas and then practicing them. There'll be breakout sessions where you can come and get feedback about how you're doing and how to run the energy through the body with your breath and your focused attention all at the same time to enhance the levels of consciousness, of wisdom and intuition and inner knowing that is literally stored in these parts of the body, or is actually accentuated in these energy centers throughout the body. So that's the yoga intensive, the BodyAwake Yoga Intensive, and that's October 17th through the 21st, okay? And then we also have a coaching program that many people have been very drawn to over the years regarding how to take the work that I teach and to translate it into helping other people as a facilitator of that process. And so we have the Energy Codes Coaching Certification Program, where you can come in and learn the principles that we are teaching inside of this coursework and learn how to guide someone through the application of those practices in their own life. You don't have to worry that if you haven't mastered it all, you'll learn to master it as you go. And we teach you how to set up a coaching situation where you can facilitate others learning the same. So don't let that idea that I have to have it all together before I can get out there and really be in service stop you. It's a training that lasts over a series of 7 modulated programs that go for a couple of hours each evening that we meet, and then there's practice sessions and all kinds of breakout stuff where you get lots of feedback as to how you're doing with really getting the gist of this, getting the principles down and getting the practices down so that you can in turn turn around and help each other out, right? We need a community that is here not only consciously illuminating themselves, but understanding that the greatest act that we can truly generate on the surface of this planet is one of service. And so we're teaching people how to do that through all sorts of practitionership, certification programs, and so forth. But this coaching one is the one that's coming up next. It is beginning in October, and it will go through January. So it will be October, November, December, and January that you'll have that kind of input and feedback and training happening for you. So it's always an amazing program that I absolutely love bringing to our community. We also have the monthly healing transmission that I hope all of you are joining us in. If you're missing that, you're missing out on a tremendous opportunity for your own cellular structure to start to activate and animate in a higher vibration, an ascended version of yourselves. And so you begin to learn to step into greater opportunities simply because it becomes a vibrational match to you rather than being something that is held as foreign and separate and eliciting a tendency to need to guard or protect or defend against some aspect of life. So the healing transmission is not only for you to receive, it's also a moment where we're doing something for the whole of humanity around the world. So it's a wonderful thing that we are stabilizing inside the bandwidth of human consciousness, a true understanding that embodiment is the key to enlightenment and life transformation. So those things are coming up, as well as I wanted to remind you that directly following this, we have the masterclass, and the masterclass is available to those that are in our gold membership, our monthly gold membership, and that information about how to click on all of the things that I've just mentioned, including the membership, is in the comments area here, and it's provided for you so that you can jump in to whatever degree of truly training yourselves to awaken to a greater version of life than you have been plugged into before. So it's here for you, all right? So let's dig in. We have a few moments for the short answer, and I want to bring this to you in a manner that allows you to realize that what it is that you want is trying to come through you. The dream that you have, the vision that you have, is actually the rest of who you are that is trying to manifest through this physical body into this life that you're living. And so if it's not happening, it's because the physical body isn't allowing it to happen. And the physical body isn't allowing it to happen because the mental and emotional system isn't really aligned in such a vibrational frequency that would allow that to happen with ease. In other words, if we have consciously or subconsciously suppressed feelings of inadequacy or not belonging or insufficiency in some way, or if we carry a grudge or an attitude that we are angry about how things panned out or how they went or how a particular incident occurred in our lives or how life was in general in our past, if we carry, and we do, some opinions about that, conscious or subconscious, most often subconsciously for people that plug into conversations like this, because on a conscious level, we're trying to do the right thing and get it right and get responsible for our own lives and learn to find our creativity instead of refining our reactivity, and learn to operate as a creator in this world. And so if you, like most people, have had experiences that before you were able to wrap your mind around them, and before you were able to truly understand that no matter what the circumstance was, it was serving you, before you come to the realization that all of life is actually in support of your unfoldment and awakening to your true magnificence, if there was a moment in your life before that, which we all know there were many, we had a tendency to store information about our past experience in such a way that it actually works against the opening of our consciousness and the opening of our system and the opening of the doorway of abundance for this abundance to flow through. And so at the subconscious level, there are contractions and there are containments and there are resistances that are in place, always allowing us to sense and feel a false version of ourselves. In other words, if I push against this and then push against that and then push against that and push against that, I get this false idea of who I am relative to that. Like I can feel me if I push against you. Like you can go take your hands after we're finished here this evening and push them against a wall. Just push the hands against the wall and you're gonna feel, oh, there's a me here pushing against the wall. And so on a larger scale in our consciousness, kind of the same thing is happening, that when we push against something, we have generated some idea, some semblance of who we are, or that there is a me here. And the problem with that is that if we establish this idea of who we are based upon pushing against things, we have to always push against things in order to maintain or to sustain that sense of self. And so what we're doing inside of the energy codes is teaching you how to anchor and center yourself in the channel, and to anchor yourself with the anchor points, which I taught in the book, The Energy Codes. And hopefully you've picked that up by now and are looking through that and learning about you inside of that book. And what we're learning to do is to anchor ourselves here so that we don't need to behave in any certain way. We don't need people to be any certain way. And we certainly don't have to push against things in order to have some sense of self. And then what happens is we begin to recognize and realize that we are free. And when we are free, we are available to love in situations where we couldn't love before. We're available to think clearly and compassionately and generously, rather than in a constricted or contracted manner, having to have it our way or tell them like it is or stand up for ourselves in some kind of way that is less than graceful. And so inside of this, it's time for us to learn that when we lean in, when we open up, when we allow this abundance to pour through us, that all sorts of things start to happen that our thinking, linear, logical mind might have never come up with on its own. And so what's it take to do that? First of all, we want to breathe in and exhale instantly the moment that we feel and sense ourselves resisting. If your immediate knee-jerk reaction is, yeah, but that's not going to work because, no, we have to do this first. If your response is always that first, initially, it's going against your true nature. Your true nature is actually a yes. And anything that is a no is either a refinement of that yes or a protective measure. And chances are, if it's coming out in knee-jerk reaction first, it's a protective measure. And so we want to allow ourselves to begin to recognize how the mind is beginning to resist, reject, push away instantly the moment a new idea comes along. And if that's the case, take a breath into your belly and exhale into the earth. Take a breath into your belly and exhale into the earth. Because the moment that you do that, you're activating the part of your nervous system that is designed to calm you down when an emergency is over. You're activating bringing more oxygen. So you're oxygenating the lower lobes of the lungs, which carry more blood more rapidly, carrying then therefore more oxygen into the whole system automatically, which kicks in the message to the subconscious that says, all is well, chill out, it's okay. We can start to think creatively. We don't have to think protectively. So just notice, what's my knee-jerk first response? Is it a yes, that's inspiring, that's exciting, now let's figure out how to make it work? Or is it immediately, boom, no, it's not going to happen, here's why. So just by flipping that over, we start to allow ourselves to have a half a chance to get into the creative zone before we're locked in to the protective zone. And a response inside of that is we will end up having a life that we so enjoy living, so much more than the one that we were protecting ourselves throughout in years prior. So in addition to that, there is a real invitation for you to love sooner, love sooner, love sooner. So this one's two parts: love sooner and love anyway. Love sooner or love anyway. So you want to love sooner because when we get to love, we're actually in the vibrational frequency that is a bigger, more expanded version of life than the one that most of our lives are being compressed into. Most of us live a life where we're not surrounded by people who are drawing out the greatness of our being. We're not surrounded by conversations that are complimentary and self-supportive and supportive of others. When instead, most people are walking around associated with people who get jealous, or people who have ulterior motives, or people who are always trying to get something or want something from us, and so on. And so it's so important that we love sooner, and the direction of that love be directed internally first. Love sooner, love sooner, love sooner. And then when we do recognize ourselves in circumstances where other people are not meeting us in that vibration, where there isn't kindness or there isn't generosity coming back and forth the way that we would love for it to go, and people aren't looking out for each other the way that we know that they could, and you're witnessing this, first of all, celebrate the fact that you can see it the way that you can, because it's actually a great, great gift. And there's so much less pain in someone's life when they are acknowledging how much they love love and how much they love finding a way for things to work out, and the fact that they are compassionately driven into a both and sort of life. And at the same time, we're celebrating that. We also want to inject that love and infuse that love into the outer world anyway. Even if they're not approaching us in the same way, even if they can't perceive it that way, if they think that their way of being is the way that it is because that's, you know, the path that they're on and the evolution that they're going through, and they think that it's right and appropriate and the only way that anybody would be, and yet in your perspective, you could see how generosity could be there, or how camaraderie could be there, or how collaboration could be there, and a meeting in the middle could happen, and love could be exchanged instead of any other way of progressing through life. In that moment that you see that differential, your practice in evolution, your practice in evolving your own states of consciousness, which will allow you to remain in a higher vibration and remain in this lifted, elevated, exalted state of consciousness, is to love anyway, is to love compassionately. Not to become a doormat by any means, but to love compassionately, to truly open your heart and set it free in the face of whatever the topic is. And this is a little practice that we can do anytime. So let's just say that there's someone entering the room, or someone in conversation with you, or someone on the phone with you, or you're exchanging emails with them. And let's just imagine this as a practice together in this moment, that it's happening, and you just receive something that is yet another example of something less expanded than a life that you know about or that you dream about, and you see it. Your protective personality is going to react, and a higher state of consciousness is going to catch that and not let it do a darn thing, but to sit right back down and take an inhale and exhale into the earth, and then start to breathe up from the earth some stability, some nurturing presence. And that is allowing you a moment to acknowledge that there's another way that I could respond here. There's another thing that I could do here. And if I can't find the words in that moment, I can mark that moment and know I'm coming back to this moment and I'm going to bring an open heart. And if in the moment you can do any amount of what I'm about to share with you, please do, because it's a short answer to a long-standing problem that will change the way that we operate in this world. Look straight into their eyes. Remember how much you love love. Remember the fact that they are a projection of your own consciousness and that you are loving into the parts of you that are untamed and unrefined and unawake and unintegrated, and that you're looking them straight in the eye. And you're going to then open your heart physically, like relax the musculature around it. You're going to open your solar plexus and relax the musculature around it and take a big breath where it gets to stretch open. And you're going to open down in the gut below the navel and allow this open aspect of you to be who's breathing and who's looking and who's about to speak. And anything that comes out of your mouth after that is going to be medicine rather than a defensive retaliation that just contributes to more duality on the planet. So we open, and allow a deep breath in and exhale into the earth and an inhale again, and then simply say, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Or simply say, let me think about that, or let me meditate on that, or maybe you have a response in the moment that says, I understand. I completely understand that you feel the way that you feel, and I feel the way that I feel, and this is how it is, and this is okay. And we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but we can support one another in our own process, in our own soulful evolution, and know that that is exactly what we are intending to refine while we're here on this planet. A byproduct of that is you create different chemistries in your body. Those chemistries are the chemistries of healing instead of the chemistries of destruction and disease and disembodiment or disintegration. And so as we begin to learn to master opening in the physical body, we begin to allow for an entirely different realm to be accessed, because the universe is trying to pour through you. And when you contract, you squeeze it out and it can't get through. And then the mind starts depending on your past experiences, and you start tallying up all the things that these people have done wrong, or that all the moments that have been painful in association with that. And none of it serves. It is what it is. And as we open and allow the universe to pour through us, then what happens is we take it less personally, and we allow ourselves to realize that we don't have to get everyone to think the way we think. We don't have to have everyone in unison that way, but we do each in unison need to learn how to respect and regard and to love one another, whatever their process is and wherever we are on the path. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Open the body, let the universe pour through. It is actually you. Those dreams and desires that you have are trying to pour through you. And when we squeeze and contract and retaliate and resist and reject, it keeps it from being able to happen. It's as simple as that. So we're at a choice point. What is it worth? Okay. So inhale, exhale, inhale again, and then allow the universe to be what is speaking, rather than the personal separate self that's had some bad experiences in the past, only to be carving and reinventing those difficult times if we continue to react upon them. So that's it for the short answer this evening, but we're going to be diving into some wonderful explanations and conversations about how we learn to weave the soulful self and the protective personality back together again. The essential self and the ego mind actually are here to serve one another, and they're supposed to unify in this life. So join us for the gold membership in the masterclass coming up at the bottom of the hour. I so look forward to being able to share that with you and to digging into our beautiful, beautiful community inside of Morter Institute. So thanks for joining. We'll see you there. Bye for now.